Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do more mature skin. This is really great if you are hired to do a mum for a wedding. So here I have my friend Grace. I'm just cleansing the skin at the moment, and for mature skin, skin prep is so important. So I'm going in with the serums, the moisturizers, the eye creams, and really working that in. Once I'm done, I'm going to color correct all the pigmentation areas. For mature skin, you'll find a lot of areas that are certainly darker than the rest. So I'm using an orange or peach color corrector to cancel them out. Once you are done, apply the concealer first before the foundation. So the concealer has time to dry over the pigmentation spots or any other areas that you need to cover, so that when you apply foundation, it's not going to remove the concealer underneath. This is so important because sometimes I even dry the skin out before I apply the foundation. As you can see, I'm using a very light dabbing motion with a flatter brush, and this is going to ensure maximum coverage over the area, but also you are pressing the concealer in, so it's going to look more flawless. Normally, mums do not like a lot of foundation, so I'm using the underpainting method with a fluffier brush, and I'm just buffing and polishing a very thin coat of foundation on. Afterwards, I'm going in with contour. This is a gray-brown contour stick from Fenty. It's an amber, and it's one of the most popular shades, and with good reason, because it makes such a really natural contour on the face. Be sure not to over contour. As you can see, I'm concentrating the color more on the edge of the face so as not to hollow the face out. This is super important for you to judge on your own how much contour you will need for the face. Another tip is to always work with a very light hand or super light pressure, even when you're putting eyeshadow, blending, anything of that purpose, because mature skin is looser and it moves around, so it might distort your efforts if you press too hard. Next, I'm applying a cream blush onto the cheeks, and I love cream blush because it's very dewy and hydrating on mature skin. So it's a really great thing to apply. I would apply the more dewy versions like the Nudestix and Bloom rather than the more matte liquid blushes. Blending is key, so when you're done with everything, just correct back all the areas with your foundation brush again, and making sure that everything just looks super pressed and fresh. Now, a great way to lift the face is to use a concealer that is 2 or 3 shades lighter than her skin tone, and draw lines going upwards towards the hairline. Then blend them out. This is going to make the face super snatch. I do it on the temples, underneath the contour, down the nose, and even under the eye to make the whole face look so much brighter and more lifted. Next, I'm doing the brows. Normally for mums, they do not like very strong or harsh brows, so just go really easy with your eyebrow pencil in short hair-like strokes to the back. I'm using a Taupe brow pencil. It's my favorite one for those with black hair because it is not supposed to be using a dark brown. You're needing to use something a much lighter, softer grayish brown to look more natural. Then I like to use my concealer and just work around the edges to make it look more refined. And this does depend on how much your client has in terms of hair, as well as does she have an eyebrow tattoo. That is really common to see on mums as well. Now let's go in for the eyes. For the eyes, I'm thinking something brighter to really open up the eyes. And a lot of people go matte, and I normally went matte last time, but I feel like a little bit of shimmer, just a small amount of shine, is really nice to open up the eye. So I'm using that base color, which is soft and pearlescent, and then I'm using kind of like a very soft brown color to detail out her socket. This is going to make her eye bigger and lift her eyes up. You can see the way I apply eyeshadow is to lift the eye and very lightly with the smallest amount of pressure apply the product. You don't want the skin to drag and distort your efforts. Next, I'm applying a darker brown to her corner of the lid as well as into her lash line. It is always better to have a smaller amount on your brush first and then build up the color slowly with small little swirls so that you don't apply a harsh line onto the face, which will be very hard to blend out on mature skin. When you're done, have the eye relax and add accordingly how much you need to make the eye look higher and brighter. Here I'm applying a very specific amount of color with a tiny brush onto the lash line area. This is going to prep for the eyeliner. For the eyeliner, you don't want to have the majority of the eye covered in eyeliner. So we're going to smoke out the lash line, the lower lash line, as well as apply highlight in the inner corner before applying liner. Remember to blend everything out so everything looks nice and soft. Now it's time for the liner. As you can see, this is the most critical part that you need to line for mature skin. They always have their tight line exposed. When we age, our tight line becomes exposed, so we need to use a gel pencil liner and cover those areas. Just alone, that looks like enough eyeliner for me. Then I'm applying the lashes to the back of her eye. I'm using a demi lash so it's not so heavy, and then curling it and then applying mascara. When you're done, now it's time to set the face. And we're using a puff with powder, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Powder, my favorite. And I'm just dabbing this lightly all over the face. It's gonna smooth out pores, imperfections, and make the area look incredibly flawless. So I love to do it this way. Now I'm using a blush just to top it off. You don't have to do this, but I do like to making sure that the blush and cheeks are snatched. And then I like to use a lighter loose powder and make the face a lot more lifted. I use this with a puff to lift the face, as you can see, packing the powder in certain areas, just like when I use the lighter concealer. When you're done, just dust it all off. Don't be afraid of powder because we know that setting spray is coming. Before that though, I'm using a powder highlight to make the face more radiant on top of the cheekbones, under the brow, and on the tip of the nose. And then I'm doing the lips. So I love to use a lip liner first because you can reshape uneven lips and also make the lips slightly bigger. And then I'm applying a lipstick and then applying a gloss. In my experience, moms always prefer a lip that is more intense and brighter, like raspberry or reds even. Here I'm using a bright coral. Then I'm using a setting spray, and this is gonna make the face back to glowy and more radiant, so make sure you apply setting spray, peoples. Enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!